All right, welcome in. It's another edition of the On the Mic podcast. I'm with mixedmartialarts.com. I am Mike Pendleton, and joining me is a guy who, 4 years in the making, finally, he's got a matchup here that we've all been waiting for. Fans of Bellator have been waiting for, and it's a very high-stakes matchup as well. He is Derek Pendleton. He'll take on Michael Venom Page. Derek, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. So next weekend, Bellator.
Hey, Mike, I don't want to interrupt, Mike.
First and foremost,
Mike,
I mean, like you said, this fight, or like I said, this fight has been 4 years in the making. For you, is this just another fight? Like, how are you coming about this fight?
Yeah, it's 4 years in the making, and it's a big fight for me. And I still see it that way. That's why I'm making it happen and stuff like that. But the closer we get down to it and stuff like that, it's just another fight.
Now, what is that like? And I know you've kind of gone on your own run. He's gone on a run since losing to Lima. But when you have a guy who, and we'll talk about MVP himself here in a moment, but when you have a guy who is outspoken, who is outlandish.
Derek, is his audio funky on your end?
No, I can.
Sorry. Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, it's funky on my end. Sorry. Forget me. I apologize.
They're all good. So when you have a guy like that who's so brash and outlandish, like MVP is, how do you go about like this 4 year like waiting period of, is this fight ever going to happen? Does his character kind of make it that much more aggravating that it hasn't happened already?
No. I've had a lot of frustrations in my career, daily not being able to get that fight and stuff like that. And I'm just straight up what my job entails is I'm an independent contractor. I sign these contracts and I go over there and I fight and I get paid, and that's how it works. So as long as they got more fights and more money for me, that's great. I want to fight this guy specifically. That'd be great. It's been a long time coming, and I'm not worried about him being brash or anything. Hopefully I get pissed off because I've never been pissed off at nobody. I used to get in a lot of fights when I was younger, when I had a hot head, and I was pretty, I get in fights like groups of people by myself, and I was unstoppable, just being angry like that. And I fight so much for fun these days. I like to fight as fun. And I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I'm a good fighter. Are you a good fighter? Let's do it. Let's have fun. I'm not really trying to finish it always, I like to fight and I have faith in myself. And, hopefully he pisses me off and I can fucking knock his ass out.
Why is this a matchup that you continue to want or kind of hope that it kind of happens? Because like I said, 4 years, you could easily be like, all right, man, it's we both had to pull out, at separate times. I'm done with this. I'm moving on.
Yeah. Well, I like to be the shorter guy. I like to throw those punches up, man, and I'm tired of being the taller guy kind of. How I go forward all the time. That's just the way I do it. So, he's a taller guy. He's gonna go backwards. It'd be great to have a tall guy that wants to go forward. That's great. But he just looks like a fun fight. He wants to play around. And I'm not scared of him. And I don't know. People have been hyping it up before I ever even got the matchup in the first place. People were hyping it up like, you should fight MVP. And I was like, yeah, he's famous. But no, I think it's going to be fun, we'll go in there and put on a show.
Yeah, you guys absolutely will. I know it's going to be a fan favorite fight come Bellator 258 next week. With a guy like MVP, and you see all the things he's gone through in his career, especially with Bellator, how do you not kind of, and I know you're a fighter's fighter, right? You're a fighter's fighter. You're a fan's favorite fighter. Like, you're just a guy who embodies what it means to be not just a mixed martial artist, but an actual day-to-day fighter. So when you have a guy who is Michael Venom Page and has the characteristics that he has, how do you not fall into the hype, the spotlight? Like, you've talked about it inside the cage, but externally, you said you hope he pisses you off. But sometimes when you have a guy like MVP, opponents are defeated before you guys even step inside the cage. How do you stay away from all of that?
It's not gonna happen to me, man. Like that's the last thing that's gonna happen to me. I'm just like a different, like you said, I'm a fighter's fighter. I'm a different type of guy. Yeah, he ain't gonna defeat me before we get in the cage. You know what I mean? Like he could be winning the fight, and I'm not defeated until it's over. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep trying, and I'm gonna get him.
What are you expecting from him in this fight? Obviously, he likes to be flashy. He does have power. And there's not many blemishes, in his game. Obviously, there was, a few fights that fans were disappointed with, but this one doesn't seem to be lining up to be that. What do you see from him as an opponent?
He moves a lot and stuff like that. Yeah, he's flashy. I think if I chase him a little bit too much, he's going to be putting his wheels on and running a lot, so hopefully we can just stand in the middle and he could try to go in and out, and I'll show him what's up. And, I just, that he'd never been tested. I'm definitely going to put my hands on him. You know what I mean? And I only seen him get hit one time. That was when Lima knocked him out. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, he's pretty evasive. And, I could take a shot real good. You know what I mean? So, hopefully I don't have to take too many. You know what I mean? But, I'll probably give him more than I take, because I got that volume output. That's for sure,
Yeah, you absolutely can take a shot, man. One of the big things I wanted to ask you before this interview started was, when you have a guy, like you said, the Lima knockout, that's not only was it viral, but that's the only blemish, but it was a one punch, crazy exchange. He was on the wrong side of it. For you, as a guy who can take punishment, who can take damage, but can bring it as well, what would be more satisfying to you, to take him into those deep waters and drown him throughout a full 3-round fight, or to get in and make another quick viral highlight of him?
Yeah, that'd be great. Get the quick one. And I got faith in that. I tend to bring a lot of guys to decision. Like I said, I just fight for fun, and you mix it up in the gym day after day, and you kind of get used to that, and then you just kind of stop fighting for the kill. Sometimes you just like fight. I just like to fight, so I'm like, let's do it. And I got faith in myself winning, but I'll just have to go a little bit harder, try to finish that thing a little bit earlier.
Do you think he's the kind of guy that brings back that going for the kill in you, or are you just content with being like, man, I fight for fun?
Well, he's gonna run away a lot, and it might be, if it gets difficult, then I will probably throw a little bit harder shot, be a little bit more, make those shots count. You know what I mean? But if we start mixing it up, I'll probably be a little content to mix it up. And, eventually I'm going to be throwing those harder shots. Sometimes I come out and I really throw a lot of hard shots, but, I'm just going to be patient. And, I got faith in knocking them out. You know what I mean? If we go the whole time, then I'll smash them around. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And, one thing that I was really looking forward to in talking to you is not just about the fight, but there's just something about the way you carry yourself as a fighter and as a person, man. Like I said earlier, you're a fan's favorite fighter, and you're a fighter's fighter. In 2021, where call-outs matter, social media matters, and how many people are looking at you matters the most, you really have this, not old school mentality, but just an original mentality of what it means to be a fighter. Where do you get that from, and how do you credit that mentality to your career?
I appreciate that, man. It's like, fighting, man. It's a very passionate sport, and like, your values and your morals, they go in there with you. You know what I mean? And like, we can all fight. We all want to be tough guys. We all stay in the gym. We're all ripped up, and I want to be tough and kick other guys' asses and get all the ladies. You know what I mean? And that's that. You can't help but be like, that's like the name of the game. I mean, ever since freaking, the gladiators were kicking out. I mean, I guess they were slaves, but everyone wants to be a tough guy. And I get me. I mean, fucking A. I want to be a tough guy, but I am a tough guy, you know what I mean? And like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you get tough. It's just like, you don't think about that stuff, you know what I mean? But okay, so those values and morals, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like a good man, a good person, you know what I mean? Like, they believe in something and they're like, yo, this is how I am. And I believe in this is right. And I'll die for this, you know? And I'll you know, like if I was ever being oppressed or anything like that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be the one to revolt, you know what I mean? And, you know, but not until it becomes to the point where I have to, you know what I'm saying? Because I just deal with what I got to deal with. And then when somebody pushes me, I push back real hard because I stand for my values. And those values, they go in there with you, you know what I mean? It's like kind of hard to explain, but, you know, like I said, you know, you got those values, you got those warrior mentality, and you'll fight for it, and you'll live for it, you'll die for it, you know what I mean? And, you know, so, you know, I'm just, that it's just the way I was raised, you know, I mean, or what I came up through or whatever, I guess. You know, I don't know how it got instilled in me the way it is, but like I said before, you know, maybe a little something missing up here, a little something extra down here. And I think that's pretty much to it. All there is to it, you know?
Well, anyone who watches this or is listening to this, this is exactly why Derek Anderson is a guy you want to watch. And this is why the fight against Michael Venom Page is such a big thrill for so many people, myself included. I'm not going to be cliche, and I'm not going to ask you about, you know, how was camp, how was your weight, or anything like that. But I will ask you, you know, we did have a rough, everyone had a rough 2020. Even if you were the richest person in the world, you had a rough 2020. You did get in there. You were able to compete. You are riding high right now. But when you look at this past year, what was it like for you? Because it really kind of changed the game for a lot of fighters. I mean, you didn't have this, but there was younger fighters who you may even know who didn't have the opportunity to kick off their career, or older fighters who had to walk away from their career. So for you to come back 2021, kind of new additions into Bellator, you know, not just fighters, but some other things that they've plugged in, I want to ask you about, you know, how was it like getting through this past year for you?
You know, Bellator has been great to me, you know, and you know, last time we were matched up, me and MVP, you know, that's the one I pulled out of. And I think that's COVID hit like right after that. You know, I thought we were, you know, I was going to maybe get another matchup, you know, as soon as I could. Well, it actually took me a long time to recover from that anyway. But, you know, COVID hit, and then everything was shut down. And then, you know, I was just on a little hiatus or whatever. And then things started happening again, and they called me up. And, they offered me Paul Daly on 3 weeks notice. And I was like, hell yeah. And then, you know, I showed up ready to do what I do. And they appreciated that. Paul Daly had to back out, and but they appreciated that I was there, 3 weeks notice, ready to go. And, you know, so they turned me around again, got another fight with Achilles Mota. And then they're trying to keep me active. And now they want to give me, you know, that's what they want from me. They want me to be active. And I want that too. You know what I mean? It's been a long time of only fighting like once a year for too long, you know? So it's time to turn it in, man. I'm getting older, you know what I mean? And I'm really coming into my own as a fighter. And yeah, you know, so Bellator takes care of me, and I'm just happy to be a part of the roster. And yeah, like my career is doing fine. You know, it's coming up, you know what I mean, through all this COVID and all that. So that's great. You know what I mean? And I appreciate Bellator for that. And yeah, you know, I'm just ready to keep mixing it up, man.
Coming into your own, I really think at the perfect time, because now you have this big opponent and MVP, but also no matter what people say, you know, about the placement of certain fighters, the ranking system is now introduced to Bellator, and that's a huge deal. Maybe not necessarily for the media, because most people who cover the sport should know who needs to fight who. But sometimes you look at the rankings and some of the media stuff out there, you might have to question the media at times. But when you look at these rankings being introduced to Bellator, man, a win over MVP just skyrockets you to the top. And when they brought in the rankings and then you were offered MVP, is that something that's on your mind? Like, big opponent, a big win here, catapults me to the top, closer to the title. Like, how do you feel about being in, you know, with the ranking system?
Absolutely. You know what I mean? I love it, you know, so, and this is the best fight. And, you know, he was, when the ranking system first came out, MVP was number 1. I was number 5. You know, I think he's number 2. I'm number 6 now, but, you know, he was the top contender, and, you know, so I get to go take that spot. And then, you know, yeah, I want that title as soon as I can. And You know what I mean? I'm here to do some damage.
Absolutely. I got to ask because you brought him up. I think he crowned himself the uncrowned 175-pound champion after his win over Sabah Masi. Would you want to run it with Paul Daly?
Yeah, I mean, we could run it for sure. That's a big fight for me. You know what I mean? I want this fight. I want the title fight, and then whoever's after that. You know what I mean?
Well, Derek Anderson, you're definitely going to put on a fan's delight and a fighter's delight inside the cage next Friday on Showtime. How do you feel about Bellator linking up with Showtime?
That's great, man. You know what I mean? We bounced around a little bit for the last couple of years, and Showtime's a big TV spot. You know what I mean? So, Bellator knows what they're doing, man, and that's good stuff, man. So.
That they do know what they're doing, and I think Showtime's the home of combat sports, if you ask me, with their boxing and now Bellator being on stage for them. Man, Derek, thank you so much for your time. Hope we could talk after your fight. Wish you all the best. Not that you need it from me, but it's going to be a hell of a fight, and I know myself, fans, and fighters all around, and even media, we're going to be looking forward to this fight. 4 years in the making. How often do you want to compete in 2021? You mentioned you're kind of sick and tired of one fight this year, one fight that year. What are you looking at for the rest of 2021?
I definitely want to get some fights, man. I could use a vacation after I had some health issues and stuff like that, and camp was tough, and I could just reboot and then let's go. You know what I mean? So vacations are always nice, but I'm here to fight, and like I said, I had some health issues this fight, and I ain't scared of nothing. So they could throw me in there with one arm, and I'll show up. So I'm showing up this time, and take a little break, and then we'll get in there as soon as possible. Maybe another 2 fights, this year.
Well, I can't wait, man. Bellator 258 goes down May 7th on Showtime, and the prelims on YouTube. Derek Anderson taking on Michael Venom Page. A huge matchup in that division between 2 top-ranked contenders. Derek, thank you for your time, and can't wait to see you back in there, man.
Thanks a lot, brother.